Hello guys and welcome back to Hotlaps episode 4. In today's episode we're going to be taking the Mercedes AMG GT3 EVO around our track for this episode of Hotlaps. It may not be the quickest in the grand scheme of the leaderboard, but it will be the quickest and setting the benchmark for the GT3 overall lap time. I'm a massive fan of this car and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but let's go ahead and take a look at the car. So straight out of the gates, you'll see how aggressive and how mean this car looks. The grille at the front is absolutely humongous and it looks really, really aggressive. Same with the sides and the rear. The diffuser makes it look so mean. And also, shout out to the livery for Mad Panda Motorsport. It's not the exact one I wanted to use, but at the same time, it's such a cool livery. It's just nothing but pandas all over the majority of the car, and who doesn't love some pandas, right? So this car is the EVO of the original Mercedes AMG GT3. This is the more modernised one, which, to be fair, is due another upgrade, to be honest. But it looks so good. The livery really brings it together, and it's probably one of the best looking GT3 cars on the grid, hands down. And you know what? It's actually got a relatively cool interior, but let's see what we can do on track with it. So we're in the car in the pit lane and this thing is an animal. Listen to the sound of this bad boy. Now, one thing I love about Mercedes, right, is their cars sound so good and they look so aggressive. So let's crawl out onto the circuit. Oh, that sounds so good. Let's just listen. In comparison to the last car that we did was the Ferrari 499P. This will comfortably be the slowest car we'll have done around this track. However, as we build out the catalogue of different cars, GT3s, GT4s, etc., this will be up there for sure, being the EVO as well. Obviously this will be quicker than the baseline Mercedes AMG GT3. At some point I do want to chuck that around as well to see what, you know, how much of a difference it really does make. But this is just so fun. I'm a bit more comfortable with this kind of car due to how much ACC I've played in the past. And Mercedes being my favourite car out of all the GT3s. I never got the chance to do, you know, like the 720S EVO or the 296 properly. But when this came out, it came out roughly around about the same time as Donington. I was in heaven. Going through Sector 1 in Donington in this was just, it was just great vibes. It's such a good car. I think it's probably my favourite GT3 and I don't think it's very close. I really do like the 720S. Something about this Mercedes, I just love it so much, man. It handles quite well, I think, in terms of GT3s for front engine cars. I mean, mid engines are okay. Rear engines I've never really gotten on with. I don't know if it's the weight distribution I'm not a fan of, but I like having a heavy front end. I know for a lot of people the Mercedes is a bit stiff, I guess is one word that you could probably give it. It just points and goes, man. I'm sure with, you know, the McLaren 720S or even the EVO perhaps, slinging that round here will probably be quicker. Obviously through Sector 2, Sector 3, you know, without the BOP, like, it's just an animal. It'll be really telling after we've done a few, just to kind of see what kind of lap times we can get out of all of the GT3 field. Your McLaren 720S, your 296, your AMG EVO. One thing I do like as well is, I complained about this in the last video, it's got a delta on the dashboard, which makes me so happy. You know, how are you to know how quick you're going if you're improving, should you bail out? When I record the Hotlaps, I've got my own custom delta, but it's nice that this is the first one we've used, I think. I don't think the 2026 car had it, or the F2 car had it, so that is nice. Chasing lap time is a little bit easier with a delta, but obviously at the same time it can obviously ruin any confidence or any how you're feeling about a lap. You might think it's really quick, and then as simple as that, either go through the gravel on the penultimate corner. Enough for me talking about how much I love this car. Let's get it into a hot lap and see what kind of time we can set on the leaderboard and set the leading lap time for a GT3 car. So there we have it. There is our hot lap in the Mercedes AMG GT3 EVO, a 130.7, quite a way off almost every single car, but again, in terms of relative lap time, that's not important. It is going to be the benchmark for the future GT3s we do, GT4s, GTEs, whatever that may be. It's the first of its kind effectively got around the track. And in stark contrast compared to the 499p, I actually left this feeling really quite happy and really quite fulfilled. I ended up, I think, doing more laps than the 499p. Just because I enjoyed it so much, and there was a little bit of lap time that I really wanted to get, and I think the theoretical best lap time I could have got out of this was about a 10th as opposed to the last video. I was really happy with this, obviously really enjoyed this car naturally. I think I expressed that enough in the last 5-10 minutes of this video anyway, so really happy with it. It's such a lovely car to drive. I'm excited to see which GT3 cars can contend with it and which ones can probably blow it out of the water. I think I have an idea of which GT3 I want to do next, but obviously we're going to cycle back through the categories. I think the next one will be a Formula 1 car, and we'll kind of work our way down the grid and kind of alternating in kind of like a cycle. That way it's easy to acknowledge kind of what cars will be coming next. And also, if you aren't interested in certain cars, in a few days, okay, an F1 car will be coming back or a GT3 car will be cycling back around. Nonetheless, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please do leave a like on it, make sure to subscribe, and if you want to see a specific car in this series, then obviously comment it down below and I'll see what I can do. Until then, guys, take care, bye bye.